The sign was hand-painted, nailed crookedly to a post on the side of a dusty back road just outside the small town of Millersville. It read, "Dog for sale, $1." Most people drove by without a second glance. Some even laughed. $1? For a dog? If it was worth anything at all, surely it wouldn't be going for less than the price of a cup of coffee. And if it wasn't, well, people didn't want broken things. But one little girl didn't laugh. One little girl told her dad to stop the car. And what she did next would not only change the life of that forgotten animal, it would change the heart of an entire town. 8-year-old Maddie Jensen had never had a pet. Her parents always said it was too much responsibility, that she was too young, that dogs were too loud, too messy, too expensive. But Maddie didn't care about any of that. She loved animals in a way that didn't make sense to most adults. She'd stop to pet every stray cat, feed crusts of bread to the birds, and even sneak carrots from her lunchbox to the horses on her neighbor's farm. So when she saw the sign, her heart did a little flip. "Please, Dad," she begged from the back seat. "Just stop. Just for a second." Her father, tired from a long day at the hardware store, sighed. "It's probably just some old mutt, Maddie." "Exactly," she said. "That's why I have to see." They pulled over by a crumbling fence where a tiny wooden shed leaned awkwardly against an overgrown tree. Out front sat an old man in a lawn chair, his face creased like leather and his eyes dulled by years of disappointment. A battered cardboard box sat beside him, and inside was a mangy, matted dog curled into the smallest ball it could make. It wasn't a puppy. It wasn't cute. One ear was torn, a scar cut across its side, and its fur was so dirty it was hard to tell what color it had once been. But Maddie didn't flinch. She knelt beside the box, slowly held out her hand, and whispered, "Hi, sweetheart." The dog lifted its head just slightly. One eye was clouded with cataracts. The other held the kind of sadness you don't see in most animals. The old man grunted. "She's no good. Got dumped near my barn 2 months ago. Won't bark. Won't eat much. Won't play. I ain't got the heart to put her down, but she's just taking up space. Figured someone might want her for $1. Maddie looked up at her dad. He looked down at her. And without another word, he reached into his wallet, pulled out a $1 bill, and handed it to the man. That was how a little girl bought a broken dog for $1. But the real story was just beginning. Maddie named her new friend Hope. The first few days were hard. Hope wouldn't walk much. She barely touched her food. She flinched at sudden movements and barked at nothing in the corner of Maddie's room. But Maddie never gave up. She read to Hope every night, sang to her while brushing her tangled fur, and even set her alarm clock 30 minutes early to sit with her before school. Her parents, initially skeptical, began to notice something. Hope's tail, once limp and lifeless, started to wag just a little when Maddie walked into the room. She began to eat more. She even climbed onto the bed one morning, curled next to Maddie, and fell asleep. By the 3rd week, Hope followed Maddie everywhere. But the real miracle came one day at the town's annual Paws and Hearts event, a pet festival for rescues and their families. Maddie begged her parents to let her bring Hope. She dressed her dog in a pink scarf and brought her to the park. At first, people stared. Hope still looked rough. Her fur hadn't fully grown back, and her gait was uneven. Some whispered. Some kids pointed. But Maddie didn't care. She held her head high, sat on a bench, and began telling anyone who passed, "This is Hope. She used to be forgotten. Now she's my best friend." And people started listening. That day, a local news photographer captured a photo of Maddie hugging Hope with the caption, "From dollar dog to beloved companion." It went viral online. People were touched by the idea that someone could see value in what others threw away. Letters and donations began pouring into the local shelter, many addressed to Maddie and Hope. A woman from 3 towns over brought in an elderly dog she was going to surrender, but after hearing Maddie's story, she decided to adopt a second dog instead. The town council even held a small ceremony where they gave Maddie a compassion award for inspiring kindness and awareness. But Maddie didn't care about any of that. All she cared about was Hope, who now wagged her tail in full circles, played fetch in the yard, and slept curled up against her chest every night. Months passed. Hope gained weight, her fur grew thick and soft, and her eyes sparkled again. She learned new tricks, barked happily at the mailman, and greeted kids at school pickup with gentle licks. One day, Maddie's dad said, "You bought her for $1, but what she gave you is priceless." And it was true. Hope had been rejected, sold like trash, left to fade away alone. But one little girl saw past the scars. Past the silence. Past the dirt. She didn't ask what the dog could do. She only cared about who the dog was and who she could become with love.